Hey guys, I'm Mark.
I'm Alen.
And welcome to another episode of The Next Man Up.
2K19. What's going on, Mark?
Holy cow. Happy New Year, man. It is 2019 already, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too.
Are you one of those people who, builds a list and this is what I'm going to accomplish in 2019? Is that you?
You know, it's an interesting question. So for the 20-some years of my marriage, my wife and I have spent New Year's Eve or right around New Year's Eve doing a look back and a look forward, and it had an element of prediction or some goals to it, but they weren't really goals. They were sort of things like, I'd like to be a little healthier, and I'd like to spend more time doing this or that. But it really hasn't been until the last couple years that I've really tried to lean into actual goals and not just doing them at the end of the year and then looking at them again 12 months later, but making them specific goals and trying to keep an eye on them. And in fact, just the other night, my wife and I were engaged in a conversation about, okay, how do we want to look at the first quarter of 2019? What are the things that are important to us? How do we want to adjust schedule? What flexibility do we want? What intentionality do we want? And so we're kind of evolving here into this new stage of shifting from just ideas to really planning together our goals and the things that we want to accomplish. So I don't know, the jury's still out on whether it'll be effective or not, but I guess we're proof that maybe some of the old or older dogs can learn new tricks. So anyway, that's that's my thought around goals and it's been a fun tradition too, just being able to look back and capture memories and sometimes it's the highs and sometimes it's the lows, and each year we like to go back and review prior years just as a way to record, just record the events that otherwise would have slipped our memory. That's kind of our thing as we roll into the next year. How about you? Do you do anything specific or unique?
You know what? I used to be one who did the New Year's resolution stuff.
Yeah.
And then I just realized I was like, you know what? I am totally failing at all of these. And I don't know if maybe it's because I am doing dude, I'm gonna lose 60 pounds.
Right.
And it's dude, you don't have 60 pounds to lose.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna read 200 books. Good luck with that. You have a job. It was all this weird stuff. And then finally I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. Here's what I'm doing. I'm like, I want to be thankful for this past year. And thankful that I have a breath, because no one is promised. I'm not even promised this next year,
right?
Let alone the next days, let alone the next year. So it became more of just being thankful, and I think that's what me and at least I've tried to pass on with the family and my wife is really pressed into just being thankful of what has transpired. Even being thankful of the hardships, of the golden nuggets and the hardships that have gone on throughout the year. And we still, it's not major. I think we're along somewhat same lines. It's where there's not major planning for the year. It's not going back to I'm going to read 200 books. Yeah, I'm going to, but it is a sense of I do want to be healthier in a sense. Yeah, I do. I would love to do that. And so what are some small steps that I could take in that? I do want to grow my relationship with my family more. I want to have fun this year. It seems like this past year wasn't a lot of fun, so I'm gonna have just examples of that.
Yeah.
And then instead of coming up with everything right then and there, for me personally, I'm not saying my whole family is. This is me personally now saying, I I like to take the first 3 months or so and really dig into that.
Interesting. Yeah.
Like it's like, what do I really want to accomplish, and what is reality? Like, what's realistic, in a sense, and in that I might come up with maybe a handful, like 2 or 3, and I'll go with those.
Yeah.
Because I just thought, and I always felt like for a while there, I think for me personally, it might work for other people, but for me personally, I felt myself looking in the mirror and just going, dude, you are a failure.
Oh, no.
Like, you suck. And it was just another tool, I think, for myself to down myself and to like just, not really see the awesome person that God has made.
Yeah.
And the creation that God has made. And so instead of doing that, I just started, like, I'm just going to be thankful for the year that I had, look back on the golden nuggets in the midst of hardship. And then maybe the first 3 or 4 months, I'm going to look at the year and go, you know what? Here's what I want to have happen this year. And just a couple of things.
Yeah.
And do that. I found I've been less anxious about the year.
Wow.
So this past year, I was just like, what do I want to do? And it came down to, I want to do some fun things with my family. Like, I want to spend more time with the family, but intentionally do fun things. Like, and so we did, man.
Wow.
We did. Let's see, 1, 2. We did 2 like mini vacations kind of deal.
Okay. Yeah.
And we got a long one. We had a long one at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And so and then we just did stuff like on the whim, just whimsical stuff like on the whim. We would just go get some ice cream. Just
cool.
Like we would text. We have a family text group, and someone would say, halt everything, ice cream time. And those that can make it, we would just walk to the ice cream parlor up the street and grab some ice cream and walk back. Just doing stuff like that. I don't know, man. This year was more fun with the family. We do stuff together, but sometimes it's not intentionally we're going to let our hair down and just have some fun. This is not about I'm trying to build you or anything like that. I just want to enjoy you.
Yeah.
These are the times I want to remember. I want to remember the times where, we went to Hershey Park, and my phone flew out of my pocket on a roller coaster, and 2.5 hours we tried getting it back from the park people, and finally hopping the fence and grabbing it. Hershey Park, please let us back in.
Yes.
And so,
yes.
I want to remember, it's the times I want in our head is the time we just all of a sudden decided to watch Harry Potter. We were just Harry Potter's on. We're just going to watch Harry Potter. Okay. All of a sudden it turns into a Harry Potter marathon for the whole week. And we're dumping everything just to make sure that the family gets together and watches Harry Potter.
Yeah,
and
yep.
We're making fun. We're making, we're laughing, but we're also this part that's oh, that's pretty deep. It wasn't really about Harry Potter. It's just about, we just wanted to get together and hang.
Yeah.
And it just happened to be around that. And so, that was one thing. And I did it. I did it this year, and it was fun. I look back and I go, man, I created some really great moments with my family, that experiences that I'm going to hold on for the rest of my life. And I hope they hold on to those memories too.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. It was kind of the spontaneity factor that you wanted to introduce into this past year. And it's cool to look back and realize it happened because I prioritized it. It was of value to me, and I oriented around it. So that was one. Did you have a second one, or did I kind of miss it in all the fun stories?
Well, the second one, I'm going to hold to myself.
Enough said.
Enough said. I'll hold to myself. But these quick little things, man. I think sometimes for myself, I get caught up I'm an action guy, and I got to have my things that I got to get done.
Yeah.
And if I don't get them done, I beat myself up. I'm one of those guys. And so I just don't want to do that anymore. And so that's why I changed.
That's cool, man. I can so relate. We've talked long about our differences, but this is one where I think we have some similarities. For the longest time, I just refused this idea of goals for a couple of reasons. And I never said it out loud, but deep inside of me, there was this fear that if I don't reach these goals, then I will be a failure, or I will be more of a failure, or I will feel like crap because I didn't get these done. Now, I didn't say that out loud, and I don't know that I really allowed myself to explore that, but I know for certain that was down inside of me, this fear that I won't measure up to these goals. And so because I won't measure up, I'm not even going to put the goals on paper. It's kind of like this idea of if you manage your expectations low enough, then you'll never be disappointed. And I don't want to be like that anymore. And, so in 17 really was the first year that I specifically set goals in place and regularly reviewed them and tried to orient my schedule, my life, my activities around them. Now, I got to the end of the year, I did something for 18, and I'm looking at my 18 goals right now, and I didn't do so good. And there are a couple of reasons why. So I'm not going to plan 19 in the same way that I planned 18. But I'm okay. I'm not any less than because I didn't hit these things on a piece of paper. And in fact, what I'm learning is, okay, that approach didn't work so good for me. So let's try something that does, and it's the same type of thing that you went through. It's, there are guidelines and ideas and ways, maybe said differently, they're like best practices for goal setting. But if it doesn't work, that doesn't mean that the whole idea of setting goals is a failure. It just means that you haven't found the thing that works best for you yet. So keep trying. Just do something, I think is what I am, the message that I'm trying to lean into. Just do something and then figure it out as you go.
And it's okay if it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Like it's okay. And I think, I don't know, man, and I don't want to just pin this back because, we're talking where this is Next Man Up, like podcast. I mean, we're trying to talk about, being a man and stuff, but it does, I hear this a lot from guys. Like there's something about failing that like kills us.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like we're bred. I don't want to assume and say for everyone, but it just seems that I meet more guys often than not who say, like, they don't like to fail. For some reason, they feel like if something doesn't go off without a hitch, that it's over for them. And I've fallen victim to that too. I understand that, but I'm just saying, like you're saying, like it's okay if it doesn't work. Like, it's not the end of the world. Just continue to keep trying. Continue to keep finding things that work for you. Like I'm still going to try. Like, maybe I'll do something different than I did last year. I don't know. It's still got 3 months to to kind of roll around in it.
Yeah.
But for me, like I said, maybe I'll only take 2 months. I don't know. Like, just keep trying, keep figuring it out, and whatever happens, I consider it a win. I consider it a W for me.
Yeah.
And if it's a W for me, it's a W for all who I'm connected in life with. So everyone wins.
Right. Yeah.
That's where that's what I think.
Yeah. No, I think that's right. Although I am a relatively recent believer of that. This is, had I really allowed myself to think this through, I would have logically concluded that I had bought into a lie. But for so long, I believed that I was the only one that was afraid. And because I was the only one, I didn't want to really share what I was thinking, but this fear of failing was ever present. And call it perfectionism, call it whatever. But I had this unrealistic expectation that I should be able to do something the first time the right way, the best way. And I did not understand failure as a learning experience. It was as if I took it upon me as an identity. And if I don't hit these things, then I become a failure. And and then feeling like I'm the only one that feels this way. You know, the first half of my career, my professional experience was in corporate America and working with some really talented and bright and driven people. And then I felt like there's me. You know, it's which one of these is not like the others. And in that context, I felt less than. I convinced myself often that I was less than. And there was just this sense of failure. Well, in the context of goals, when you put goals out there and you don't hit them, it just reinforced what I was already struggling with, that I can't do this. I'm a failure. And so I'm afraid to even try, so to speak. And I totally get it. And yet it's a myth, number one, and a lie that I was the only one, right? Totally. And rationally, I get that, but it is a lie. So many men feel this way. And the second thing is, I just didn't have a healthy perspective or a healthy definition of failure. Now, I've reworded it for my own benefit. It still needs some wordsmithing, but failure for me now is when I don't make an attempt. It's not when I make an attempt at something and it doesn't go perfect. It's when I don't even make an attempt. That is what I've come to really understand as failure in my life. And I don't want that anymore. I want to be different than that.
Interesting. That's good. It's funny. I think for me, I think there's something I've been known to think, actually. And so my truth of failure has been that, if you fail, like, it just means everything is bad.
Yeah.
And so when I failed in the past, I've gotten to a place, well, might as well just throw everything out the window. I suck. I just end my life now kind of deal.
Yeah, kind of the Eeyore type of approach, right?
Yeah, because I felt like failure itself was just an evil thing. Like, you just don't fail, right?
Yeah.
But I guess my definition has changed as well. I take it as failure just means I get to learn something new.
Yeah.
And so like for me, like, it's not seen as a bad thing anymore. It's not a horrible, like, disastrous, type 5 tornado, like, for me anymore. Instead, it's an observing moment. It's a moment of, like, well, what happened there? Like, what can I learn right now? Like, what can I see right now? What am I not seeing that I can see? And it's a moment of getting excitement because, like, something like fun and awesome can come out of this. There's been a lot of, like, scientific breakthroughs that come through because of failure,
right?
So to speak. There's been new thoughts and ideas that have come about because of so-called failure. And so why should I be afraid of it? I shouldn't be afraid of it. I'd be willing to open to it, and whatnot. And so, but still balancing that out, like, my reality is that's the way that I think. And so I need to change my thought process on that. And so for me I need to change, like, when it comes to New Year's resolutions, I'm just going to change the whole way I do New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
Like, I just won't do it the same anymore.
Right. Try something different.
I'm just going to try something different because something awesome might come out of it. And for me, like, something awesome has come out of it. Like, I got these memories with my family that no one can ever take away.
Yeah.
There's three things. One of the things that I pressed into was I wanted to pause more. I wanted to just pause. In other words, I'm going the wrong way here. Sorry. I'm on a phone, folks, so just
be safe.
just
Safety first.
Yeah, be safe. So what I mean by that is I wanted to be more mindful and more thoughtful in my living. And I didn't want to just rush through everything because that's what I can typically end up doing, is just rushing through a lot of things. And not being mindful, not being thoughtful, not taking in scenery and such. And so I made it a point to pause. And so, for me, it worked out to be that, I purposely said that 3 times a day, I'm going to take 2 minutes out of my day, and I'm just going to pause.
Interesting.
I'm going to sit down. I'm going to focus on my breathing, and I'm going to just be. Is really, honestly, that's what I was doing. I was just being.
So kind of like a simple meditation type of thing. Is that kind of
total.
Yeah,
simple meditation kind of deal. I started out with that, and then I started going, okay, when I enter conversations with people, I'm going to pause at least once in that conversation. And in my mind, so pausing allowed awesome things to happen. Like, I found I was able to calm myself down and hear other people's perspectives when it came to argument. I was able to hear other sides when it came to talking with my children when they were trying to bring something up to me, and my father's senses were tingling, going, "No, not gonna happen. No." And then but because I was pausing, it came out to, didn't think about it that way.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm seeing I'm seeing at least what you're trying to say or what you're trying to do. And I think I can help you. You know what I mean? With my wife, the same thing, trying to hear what she had to say in situations, instead of all of a sudden just be like, no. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's not going to happen. We're not talking about this. It's no, we need to talk about this because we're husband and wife and we're partners. God put us together. I love you. I want the best for you. I want to, you know what I'm saying? Things like that started happening more. And so I paused in conversations, and then I said, I want to pause in the morning and I want to pause at night. And it ended up being that I was able to look back over my day and again, be thankful for things in my day that sometimes I would have totally forgot. Incredible things that I remember one time just thinking through my day at the end of the day, and I was like, oh my goodness, this one thing happened and it was a big deal, but because I wasn't paying attention to it, I would have just let this whole thing go by.
Wow.
And not been excited and say, God, thank you for this awesome thing that happened. And so there was moments like that. And in the morning, as I paused, things that were coming up for the day, I was able to go, oh man, I got a lot of anxiety about this one thing coming up here. And I was able to just invite Jesus into it. I was able to, for a moment, just pause and go, God, you know what? This is a big thing on my heart, and I want to invite you into it before it even starts. And it created these lines of communication with people. It created lines of communication with my Heavenly Father, and was able to be a little bit more clear-headed and more clear-hearted, in situations than I would have been in the past because I wasn't pausing.
Wow.
I wasn't taking time to breathe and stuff. And so that was a major thing for me. And I'm so glad I engaged in that goal, and it's been very beneficial.
Well, I'm glad you took a pause here because that might not have otherwise come up had you not paused and said, "Oh, hey." Yeah. No, I'm picking on you. Actually, you brought up so much there, and kind of drifting into some things that have really been on my heart lately. around how we engage in conversation and how we show up and how we bring ourselves. And we'll have to get to those topics another time, but there's a lot there. And I think the overall message here, you know that this wasn't really where we were intending to go today, but the topic just seemed to open up before us. And so we kind of went with it. I think the overall message here is be intentional about, there's something about changing the clocks from 2018 to 2019. It's more of a psychological thing, really, but culturally we do it. It's an opportunity to look forward. And so be intentional, spend some time looking back, spend some time looking forward, and approach the new year in a purposeful and an intentional way. And maybe that's in relationships, maybe that's in business, maybe that's with your children, whatever it is. I think something. Yeah, do something different that is about growth and development, not just about status quo or like me for so long. I'm just not even gonna bother because I feel defeated and I'm afraid. I'm afraid of failing, or I'm afraid of not living up to my own unrealistic expectations. Look, if you're there, I can relate, and there's a better place. There is life on the outside of that, but it takes a decision and it takes some intentionality. And I'll stop repeating myself with different words, but that's I guess that's kind of the message that we're saying here, right? Is just do something. Yeah,
do something and be realistic. It's okay if it doesn't go correctly. Like, it's all right. You're still the awesome creation that God created.
Yeah, yeah. It's not an identity changer by any means.
No, and it's okay.
Yeah,
it's just fun.
It is,
man. Dude, Mark, I always appreciate talking to you, man.
Man, I love your insights and your story and your stories, and it was kind of cool to find something like we had in common this time instead of always differences. But there's way more in common probably than we even realize. Yeah.
Dude, the picture we're painting is like we're like Skip Bales or and Alen. Well, I forget the other guy's name on First Take or whatever.
Yeah,
arguing all the time with the bleed differences. I picked the Cowboys.
Yeah,
we probably got more things in common.
We do. We're a little closer aligned.
We did find one.
Yes,
we found one to vocalize.
That
was really good.
That's right. It was good.
Awesome, man.
Well,
Dude, you take care.
Yeah, from me and Alen, Happy New Year to all you listeners. We wish you the best in the coming year. And
UK19.
That's right. And we'll talk next time, man. Adios.
All right. Adios.
Hey, listeners, thanks for journeying with us on this Next Man Up podcast. We would love to hear from you. Maybe you have a question or an idea, perhaps a topic for us to consider. If that's you and you want to reach out to us, you can get us at feedback@thenextmanup.com. That's feedback@thenextmanup.com. Again, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, we'll see you later.